are watching Start That Business Show with our business coach, Evelyn.
Hello. Welcome to today's episode of Start That Business Show. I'm your host for the show, Evelyn, and a business coach. Today's video is a follow-up to the previous video, which we called How to Start and Run a Successful Butchery in Kenya. In the video, I explained to you different factors that influence customer buying behavior. For example, what would make one customer prefer to buy meat from your butchery as opposed to the next? Or even what makes customers buy the quantities of the meat at the prices that they do? But with that said, I imagine you probably are wondering about the process of what it takes to open a butchery. For example, what location would you be looking at? What amount of capital would you be looking at to set up a butchery to target the different type of clients that you may want to target? Or even what are the equipment? So today's show will give you exactly that. Today's show is going to explain to you the different capital requirements for the different sizes of a butchery that you may want to open, the different capital requirements, and even the different equipment that you may need. The first consideration that you will have to make before you open your butchery is the location. So, will you be targeting low income meat buyers, medium income meat buyers, or high income meat buyers? So with that decision in mind, then comes the location. Where will the location be? So whatever the case and whatever customer niche that you set out to target, the location that you choose has to be highly accessible and it has to have a high human traffic, because these are the customers that you would like to target with your butchery. In the location, also try to make sure that there is electricity, because you are going to need storage, freezing and storage for your meat, and you are going to need water as well. So make sure that your location has free flowing water so that you can be able to get the water that you need to do your cleaning. Still tied to the location is the need to have an affordable place. Whatever customer niche that you set out to target, cost minimization is still an important aspect for you. So make sure that the location is as affordable as possible so that you can increase your profit margins. With the location set in mind, I'm going to move to the next important point, which is capital. How much capital are you going to require to set up your butchery? The capital outlay will range from as low as 30,000 shillings to as high as 1 million shillings. Again, depending on the location where you want to set up your butchery, or even with the customers that you would like to target. The third important thing that you will consider are then the equipment. Whatever amount of money that you have decided to start your butchery with, then the next important decision will be what equipment are you going to buy. In the next 1 or 2 minutes, I'm going to explain to you the different equipment that you will need. And the number one equipment is a display counter. Most display counters are made of glass, and the reason for this is that customers who are outside or even those who have walked in can be able to see the quality of the meat that you have. Is it clean enough? Does it look like it's fresh? So most display counters are made of glass. The price ranges are anything between 50,000 shillings to 65,000 shillings, again depending on the source, depending on where you buy it from. After buying the display counter, the next thing that you need are butchery knives. So for a start, you may probably need 2 of them. So you may need 2 butchery knives, meat cleavers, or a panga if you cannot get either meat cleavers or butchery knives. Each of these goes for 2,500 shillings. So for the 2, we are looking at 5,000 shillings. With meat comes need for refrigeration, because meat is highly perishable. So you're going to need a refrigerator or a freezer to store your meat. And a good freezer or a freezer that can work will range from anything 30,000 shillings up to 70,000 shillings. But this will depend on the size of fridge that you need, the make of fridge that you need, and even the quality of fridge that you are looking at. But why are we talking about a refrigerator? Meat is highly perishable, and sometimes at the end of the day, you may realize that you still have the day's stock which is unsold. So to keep it fresh, to start you off the next day, you will need to keep it in the fridge or even to freeze it. And during the day, you will still need to keep your meat fresh as you are still selling and hoping to target more and more clients. You will also need to buy at least 2 white aprons. You may have seen butchers put on white aprons, and that is the practice. So you will need at least 2 white aprons so that whenever you are in one, the other one is cleaned, so that each and every day you have a clean apron to use. But what certification will you need? You will need an operating license, which goes for roughly 10,000 shillings. Another certificate that you will need is the food handling certificate. And the third certificate that you will need is a fire certificate if you also want to sell cooked meat in your butchery. And if you will think of branding, which you most definitely will, or even to write your name on the door or something, you will also need an outdoor advertising certificate. So put together, the legal and the certification requirements come to roughly 40 to 45,000 shillings, again depending on what you will need, but some are really standard, like the operating license will be a must for you, the food handling certificate will be a must for you, and almost the one that will be a must is the outdoor advertising certificate, because branding will also go a long way in helping you to attract your customers. I'm now going to move on to your day-to-day operations. That is, you have considered your capital, you have settled on your location, and you have got all the right certificates that you need, and they are all in place, and you have your equipment. So how then do you move to operations? And this takes us to your day-to-day operations. Like, what time do you open your butchery? What time do you close? And where do you get your supply of meat? So supply is very important. Before you open your door, be very sure to establish your source of meat. Most butcheries in Kenya get their meat supply from different slaughterhouses, which are located in different towns. In Nairobi, for example, there is a slaughterhouse in Dagoretti or even in Njiru. So be sure to establish that which will be convenient for you and be able to tell what time are the prices fairer. Most of the slaughterhouses slaughter their meat at night. Did you know that? So try to be there as early as possible, probably by 4 o'clock in the morning. And this way, you will be able to talk to the slaughter people themselves. But anything later than 6 o'clock, even up to 7, you will most likely find brokers who have also bought meat from the people who slaughtered it earlier in the day. Take the shortest time possible, preferably within the first 1 month, to establish the quantities that you need, because again, you do not want to end up with surplus in the evening, because what this means is that you will have to refrigerate it to start off by selling it tomorrow. But again, this is going to interfere with the quality of the meat that you stock in your butchery. But it is also almost inevitable to sell almost everything by the end of the day. So even if it has to remain, just remain with very little and start off with it the following day, so that as the day progresses, you are then able to transition into the new stock that you have just bought during the day. So make sure you have enough so that you don't run short during the day, but also make sure that you do not stock too much so that you end up refrigerating too much, because again, you want to be known to be selling fresh meat that is slaughtered on the same day. I'm also going to give you very important tips that will help you with your day-to-day operation of your business. So one thing that you may want to go into is value addition. That is, in addition to selling raw meat, you could also consider selling cooked meat, for example. You could also sell other meat products, and that way you will increase the amount of meat that you sell per day, which is your main objective. Another thing that you may want to consider going into is partnerships. I have seen different partnerships, maybe with riders or maybe with different food providers, so that you can maybe sell on selected days, or even sell meat in conjunction with something, or even have riders that you can partner with, or even dial a delivery, or riders that can deliver for you meat from your place to your client. So partnerships are going to be important for you moving forward, and there are also just many avenues that you're going to use to increase the number of sales that you make in any given day. Another important aspect in your day-to-day operations is marketing. From the day you open shop, it is going to be important to let your customers, both existing and prospective, that you exist. And you can market by word of mouth. That is probably telling your friends that you now have a butchery and you sell meat and you are located in such and such a location. Or you may want to go into social media. Most butcheries use social media to target new clients. You may also want to use different platforms, even door to door, just walking around and telling people we are here and this is what we sell, and if you need meat or if you need this much meat, or if you need this for these days, then we exist. So marketing is going to be your companion for the longest run, for as long as you are running your butchery, from the onset to the growth, and even to a stage that maybe you want to diversify or even open many more branches. Also try to target institutional buyers. Institutional buyers could be hospitals, schools, or even hotels, or even those who buy in bulk. These ones are going to help you be able to sell volumes, and ultimately that is where you are headed, because you want to sell as much as you can and make as much profits as you can. Another important aspect for you is packaging. Package in clean packaging materials so that customers do not have the meat soil their cars or their hands or whatever mode they're using to carry the meat from your butchery to the places where they're going. So find out what other butcheries around you are using and invest in good packaging material so that your packaging is decent. Also remember to wash your hands at least. Have sinks or accessible points of hand washing so that before you are able to serve a client, you can clean your hands. So that way you are sending a message that you are careful about hygiene, and whatever you are selling to them is clean, and you are really mindful of how you handle this food. We spoke about white aprons. Try as much as possible to have a white apron stay white. There's no reason why you should have blood stains on your apron because you're selling meat. So keep your white apron clean, and if it gets soiled up, change into another one and keep washing them so that you are in a white apron the whole day. Cleaning is also going to be part of you in your day-to-day. Most butcheries employ cleaners, so in the first few days you might do the cleaning alone, but as customers continue to stream in, consider getting an assistant to help you with the cleaning, the dusting of the display surfaces, the cleaning of your knives, and even mopping the floor in case there is any blood spillage or spillage of water, or even making sure that everything, your fridge tops and everything that you're handling, is really clean. Related to that is customer care. How are you talking to your customers? How do you even say hi to your customers? Because they are first people before they are your clients. So at least acknowledge them, say hi to them, and take time even to master them by their name so that whenever they walk in, they feel like they're at home and that they are welcome into your butcher. I hope that sets the path for you to be able to successfully open a butchery in Kenya. So this information in today's video, in conjunction with the previous one, which talked about the different customer buying decisions, should give you clear enough information that should enable you to make informed decisions into how to open your butchery business, how to run it, and even how to make profits from it, and even at what stage do you need to move from the growth stage to other products. For example, if you started with red meat, you should be able to tell at some point in the journey when to diversify to other meat types, maybe white meat, maybe even processed meat, again based on what your customers would like. So that is all I had for you today. I hope you learned from it, and I look forward to talking to you again about many other business ideas that you may want to explore. It was my pleasure hosting you, and I look forward to hosting you again on this show. And if you wish to engage with me on any of the aspects that I have spoken about, engage with us on social media, through our Facebook page or through Instagram or any of the social media channels. But better still, you may subscribe to this show so that you may get notified anytime we upload video on different business ideas that I hope you do not want to miss. It was my pleasure hosting you, and till the next video, it's bye for now. I was your host, Evelyn.